Hello, everybody. It's Andrew here from the Ark of the Covenant, and just going to do another video for you guys. And we're going to look at, finally, we're going to have a look at the word professor and profess and all of the words that are associated with that. Well, that's a fairly small list or short list. There's a few different variations on the word profess and professor. Okay, so if you type in this word profess into Google, it's going to return you a list of definitions, uses, and origins. And you'll note that in the Google list, the main definition given is that to profess is to claim that one has a quality or a feeling, and especially when it turned out not to be true. And one of the examples given is, if somebody professes their love to somebody, and then their undying committed love, and then turns out that that person reneges on that commitment and moves on. So they were just professing their love. It implies that professing is not backed by a solid weight of commitment. Okay, so now I was surprised by this, and perhaps you are too, because I always did associate this word with professing. Okay, so, and the word professor, or to profess in Latin, is to declare publicly. And when I think about the word profess, I get a general positive connotation based upon the fact that I'm told I should aim to be professional, and I should achieve this aim of being professional, I should listen to the professors at university. So it goes on to give a secondary archaic, inverted commas, meaning, which is that as one is claiming to have a knowledge in a subject or a particular topic. Okay, and this is the one which is in turn related to speaking about religious beliefs. Okay, or to profess is to enter into vows, to take vows of religious beliefs. So you can see that this definition of making claims of feelings or qualities that turn out not to be true, and then this archaic definition of claiming to have knowledge in a subject, especially in relation to religious beliefs or taking on to vows, which turn out not to be true. So this is a little weird, isn't it? It's not what I expected to find when I first looked into this word. And there's a third stated definition, gets even better. Okay, and it relates to teaching, but in a humorous context. Okay, well, what? Right. Is it implying then that the term professor was originally a derogatory word for a teacher? Something that you might call them, behind the back of your hand. The Latin definition of profess was to declare publicly, okay? And so a person who declared publicly was a professor. I smell a rat here. None of this really lines up. So what I'll do is take out the PRO, the pro at the start, because the pro, as you know, is consistent across, hundreds of words probably. Okay, and the pro is, we know from previous studies, that it's something that has not happened yet, okay, in relation to the continuation of life cycles in particular, right? So the potential restoration of life cycles. Okay, so we're left with fessor, F-E-S-S-O-R. What is a fessor? Not surprisingly, fessor is not a word in its own right. It has been tampered with. Okay, it's not the way it was spelled originally. The spelling has been changed, right? But the word fessor, well, it originates from some very interesting words and concepts. So from the Latin fess or fessi or fessum or fessus, meaning to be tired, worn out, fatigued, sick, and weak. Again, this doesn't seem to line up, does it? So now into the Italian, where fessa, F-S-S-A, and F-S-S-I mean something that is cracked, split, broken, or foolish, or a simpleton. And it was also used to refer to symbolic adornments such as armbands and ceremonial stripes. So now across into French, the fessa, F-S-S-A and F-S-S-I, means spanking. And the fessie, F-S-S-E, means buttock. The reason for this, right, is that it comes from a very old Vulgar Latin Italian origin, from the fessa, the fessi, the fissi, and the fissa. And it means the butt crack in the masculine sense, and in the feminine sense, it refers to the vulva or the vagina. And in Danish, it means the same thing. Right, so what's going on here? Right, it all stems from the word fissa, which means cracked or split. But it was used in the common vulgar tongue. Did I put, I'll just stop. Did I put, no, I don't think I did. Right, so the fissa, I forgot. So it stems from the word fissure or fissure, meaning a crack or a split. It was used in the common vulgar tongue to refer to a butt crack, right? By those who probably didn't understand the higher meaning of the words, or perhaps they did know and they still chose to poke fun at it. And that sounds about right, doesn't it? We like to poke fun at stuff, especially things that people take seriously. So, it's pretty cool though, right? I mean, none of these things seem to relate in any way to what I have in mind when I think of the word professor. Now, before I go on, if many of you may have never heard of Vulgar Latin, Vulgar Latin is simply saying that it's the street slang version of Latin. So we have the High Latin, and people may have known how to speak it, but many not the true deep meaning of it. And so really it's three levels there. There's the closed door secret society understanding of language, the general educated section of the population's understanding of language, and the common person out on the street, the uneducated labourers and workers. Okay, and they, as we still do today, take the language and manipulate it into distorted forms to create analogies and similes to entertain themselves in blue fashions, let's say. We still do that today. Okay, so what I think we see here with all of this is that the common people having little respect for those who advocated for the church's teachings, the professors of religion, well, they formulated a little joke amongst themselves based upon the authoritarian nature of the church and its professors. Right? Since the people saw the professors of the faith as being foolish, broken people, cracked, worn out, right? And they're wearing symbolic adornments. Okay, and these professors would discipline you for not adhering to the teachings, much akin to being spanked on the buttocks like a parent to a child. And you can bank on this being the case, right? Because the Latin etymology for the word professor and profess, it does not bear witness to the claimed definition of pro, being meaning beforehand, that which hasn't happened, and fessus, meaning tired, weak, and exhausted. I mean, that's their own definition. So they're saying that the word profess means before you're tired, weak, and exhausted. And somehow this becomes the word profess and meaning to declare publicly. So guys, I'm not seeing it, right? It's not there. But what is there is through that other angle with the common vulgar Latin speak, meaning that this word professor or fessor was in fact a derogatory term. Right? So in the Greek, the prophet, the prophet, that was correct. The prophet meaning before it begins. So to profess or to prophet, prophesize, means to speak about something before it happened, to know in advance before something would happen. And that more closely correlates to the Latin word perfectus, meaning incoming advantage or incoming benefit, profit. Okay? They took the word perfectus, which generally meant any positive benefit coming towards you, and they made it about money, and they made it about finances. So, but originally, the perfectus, okay, and to know of the profit, right, it was to know about the advantage that was on its way. It hadn't happened yet. Okay, so you understood the potential. So it turns out that professors are exhausted and foolish people who are adorned with symbols and that will smack you on the bum when you don't do as they tell you to do. And the church sought to restore dignity to that expression by assigning it to the practitioners of scientific reporting. Right? They tried to get it some credibility back. And of course, we see the tie there with religion and science sharing amongst themselves. And once the church realized that the common folk, well, they'd convinced as many of the common folk as they were going to, and a certain percentage of the population just remained, free thinkers basically, and they weren't so easily fooled by these church's stories. And so the gig was up in a way, and though they had half of the population, they needed to do something with the other half of the population. And the other half of the population did very strongly then gravitate toward the sciences and the teachings of scientists, the professions, the professionalism, and the prophecy of scientists. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Hope you had a bit of fun with that one. Profess, hey? To professor. A naughty, tired old person that's going to come and smack you on the bum. I would never have thought that. All right, guys, that was a bit of fun. Hope to catch you all again soon. Be good to each other out there. I'll see you all again soon. All right, bye. See you guys.